So this is I just wanted to make one data log. So this is where I'm at. Today is, I believe, January 11th, 2018. Here we go. My camera will not turn around. That didn't work. Okay, so here we go. I don't know if I'm getting a good video. Here we go. And there we go. Take a look back at my questionnaire. Okay, that's not really getting a good image. Okay, let's just try this. Sorry about the craziness. Okay, all 5 questions. See if we can get it. So maybe it should be flipped around the other way, my blades. So I should probably double check that. Make sure my belts aren't touching my filter. So right there, that box in the back is basically a chamber. It's going to be an outtake chamber that's going to be the home of the jet engine blade, the jet engine fan, where you normally would have the gasoline being transferred into outtake, causing the combustion, or I don't know. I just wanted to say that it sounded cool. Causing fire to happen. Yeah, it's a jet engine. But I have used it as a wind source to power air. As you can see, the bigger circle is the fan of the jet engine, and that's going to go inside with everything else, the belts, everything. Now, the belts, they're operated by, the main fans on the inside are operated by the serpentine belts and the belt tensioners, which are connected to threaded rods. These threaded rods are connected to the main fans. And what supports that are some studs, some basic studs you can find at Home Depot, like your 2x4s. So you drill a hole. You gotta drill holes. You gotta make it real nice now. Drill some holes. Get yourself some washers and some screws. The screws is what's going to lock everything into place whenever you're connecting your jet fans, giving you that security. And the washers is what's going to really help when you bolting those in. And then basically the belts will turn. The belts will make the threaded rods turn. The belts and the belt tensioner will help the threaded rods turn. And for those to spin fast enough to turn the jet fan blades, which are the main 12 fan blades, that will spin the threaded rod. Now the box, the entire body, sorry about that, it's just made of basic plywood and sheet metal or stainless steel sheets that you would need to drill holes through. So you need to drill holes through the stainless steel and the wood. So you gotta make sure all your measurements and your drilled holes line up. If you want, you can go ahead and install yourself some filters, like type of vent system. That's just another upgrade factor that you could add. Maybe some corner braces to help you keep those walls sturdy. And what else was I doing with this? I'm sorry. A little distracted. This isn't rehearsed. This is not rehearsed. Well, this is my drawing. Alright, my video's getting messed up. I'm back. Okay. This is my log. Thank you. So, like I was saying, the walls, are basic plywood and stainless steel sheets. Now, on the outside of the walls, I plan to attach gold sheet reflective, if you know what that is. And you're probably more common with silver sheet reflective. But I'm going to get into the two in just a second. I also have full tape around all my edges, to add extra security. So now whenever I'm adding on my, either before and after, I'm adding my gold sheet reflective on the outside. It's to collect heat. The silver sheet reflective, I'm going to get to in just a minute. The gold is to collect heat, hot heat, not cold heat. Kind of like light. Which is also going to be held down probably by some, if not just the full tape, more screws and washers. That's all fine. You should have plenty of screws and washers. Now on the inside, before we install the main 12 fan blades and the serpentine belts and threaded rods and the jet engine fan, which should not be covered yet. That should be the last thing you need to do. Oh, did I slip up? I can just mention that in a minute. So, on the inside, you'll have your silver sheet reflective, which is going to be cold heat to help prevent fires. Now, but also you want to collect that heat. So remember, air, who knows what's in space, but air is still a solution, and in space it's a gas. Air is still a gaseous solution. Yes, air is still a gaseous solution. Gaseous solution. Now that we have that there, we also have U-line wrap, clear poly, waterproof plastic. So some kind of way you should probably get that in there. Maybe before you get down your sheet metal, after you get down your sheet metal, before you add your sheet reflective. That's also going to help prevent those fires, keep everything nice and cool. So make sure you get that everywhere in there. Maybe also at the back on the outtake for the jet fan blade, you can also slow down that air, try to trap some of that gaseous solution, and release the outtake a lot slower. And it's fine if it gets burnt up. It's fine if it disappears. That's just more of an outtake that's going to happen. And also, it's a jet engine fan, so if fire happens, that could be a safety factor. It is meant for wind. Now, installing the jet engine fan, as you can see, one threaded rod is connected to the first main fan blade, jet fan blade. That is because it's a lot more efficient. It's a lot more efficient to secure your jet engine fan that way. Now back there you can see at the end of the box where the jet fan blade, the jet engine fan is a dark line. That is your copper wire. That's the image of your copper wire. The copper wire is sitting on what will be your image of your ball bearing connected to your thread rod. Also, the end of the outtake. Now, your copper wire needs to be, your copper sheet needs to be attached firmly around your ball bearing. Now, you may need some wood because you need to screw down that copper sheet. You're going to have to put some screws through that. You're going to have to drill some holes through that. And wrap around your copper wire around some screws and screw it connected to the copper sheet. This is important. This is how you will ground your electricity, your powered electricity. Now the other end of the copper wire is going to have to go. It will be transferred. It will be grounded. So you're going to drill another screw into the platform and wrap the other end of the copper wire to that. Now, whenever you're starting to power it up, that is the end that you will need to connect your cables, your copper cables, your cable clips to, not the ends connected to the copper sheet and ball bearing. Now you're going to need an extra side because, as you know, there's 3 ends to your run capacitor. So you will need 2 sets of cables, copper clips, with positive and negative ends. That is because which means you're going to have to drill an extra hole in your copper sheet and add a second line of copper to ground it to the platform for the cables. The run capacitor, you need to store it somewhere safely inside of the machine. And make sure you build yourself another secured security like the end connected to the turbofan blade using the U-line wrap and spare parts from your plywood and stainless steel sheets. That way you can prevent water damage and loss of power for any weather effects. Instructions to connect your run capacitor to your grounded wire, your grounded copper wire and screws. I would state to start with the removal of one positive and then one negative, and then one positive and then one negative. Now when starting to power up, you need to make sure that your first set of cables is connected to your grounded copper wire and screws. Then connect to the battery. When powering off, you unconnect your cables from your battery. And then you can unconnect the cables from your copper wires and screws. Be sure to avoid any shocks from your battery. So you need to make sure you have some type of rod that's wrapped with rubber or a screwdriver to remove some of those extra sparks. And there you have it, your electric powered air ventilation system. Now the idea to test, or an example, an idea to test for aerosols using the electric powered air ventilation system is to simply test your filter in a tank of water. I apologize, I didn't explain where the filter went in the image. But the filter is connected, is in front of the fan blades. So like I was saying, how I need to make sure my belts are not touching my filter. I need to turn that around and put the blades right next to the fan. I mean the filter, the jet fan blades next to the filter. The jet turbofan is fine in the back. That's fine in the back. But the filter is supported by just like your basic studs, your basic 2x4 studs. It's same as your main jet fan blades. Is supported by being in between the studs. Yeah, you may have extra space there if you want to install technology. Maybe if it becomes more advanced one day, that is possible. The extra space is there. It's just being collected by, it's just collecting air through the filter. That's all. That's all hot air. It got inside, you never know. There's two sides of the filters. One side could be positive, one side could be negative. Two sides could be positives. And so testing the filter for aerosols. As I was saying, you would simply test your filter in a tank of water, and then using some form of meter, such as a pH meter, but not using a pH meter. I'm sorry. Similar to a pH meter, some sort of meter, similar to a pH meter, to test the water, to know what's in the water. Maybe a computer, maybe some type of chemistry work to test the water. And there is the electric powered air ventilation system. Electric powered meaning that some type of electrical source is powering your fan blades. Electric powered makes it electrically operated. And the rest is just support. Okay, thank you very much.